from Modern Masters 2017. So if you're playing humans like Collin, that's a very handy card to have in your collection. So at 10 o'clock, we'll be cutting off entries. You can enter by just hitting exclamation point enter, exclamation point enter with a number if you have enough points to do so. You can check the amount of points you have with exclamation mark points. And the point system, just so that you are refreshed, 500 points for subscribing, 50 points for following, 1 point for every 1 bit cheered, 5 points for every 10 minutes watched, 10 if subscribed. So subscribe now. Get yourself a heaping pile of entries and use them and get yourself that phantasmal image. We'll do the giveaway probably sometime during round 4.
Yeah, sounds about right. We're looking at 8 o'clock right now, so in just 2 hours.
Of course.
Phantasmal image.
Cutting straight to the point with Valakut and Collin. I imagine named humans with that Cavern Souls, Masterpiece Cavern Souls. Very nice. Collin and I have a tendency to play each other when we go to competitive REL events somehow.
Oh, okay.
And I have won every game against him where he has not played a turn 1 Aether Vial, and he has won every game against me where he has.
And what have you been playing these days?
I play Naya Zoo because I like to live life on the edge.
Fair enough.
And I want to play cards that were banned in 2013, and that's how I do it.
Fair enough.
You know, I live
like
my best life that way.
What was it? Wild Nakatl was banned?
Wild Nakatl and Bloodbraid Elf.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a time when those were too good for Modern.
What a time to be alive.
It was quite a time.
All right, so we have our turn 2 Auriok champion. Is that right? Auriok
Yeah, it's an Auriok champion. I'm surprised, I guess, to see that as a main deck card for Collin, but...
Well, we're on game 2 here.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So this is post-board. You're right, you're right. So that is a good play.
So it has protection from black and red, if I remember correctly, and it gains 1 life whenever a player casts a red spell.
Correct. Given that Corey's game plan is to get to a very specific amount of damage as a consequence of Escape Shift, just a little bit of incidental life gain can be very relevant in a matchup. If he can get keep his life total above 18.
Well, it looks like he's actually playing a Prismatic Omen here, so it shouldn't be too difficult, I think, to scale a little bit over that.
Yeah, Corey's definitely on the draw that's going to help him do as much damage as quickly as he can. I see a Titan in his hand. I see another basic Mountain at a minimum, but Collin's got Meddling Mage and Kitesail Freebooter, so he's going to do the Freebooter first. Summoner's Pact, Mountain, Titan, Escape Shift. So Escape Shift is going away for sure.
Yep.
Seeing as the Primeval Titan cannot be cast presently with the cards that are in Corey's hand, and the Pact isn't going to be too helpful.
Sure.
So Collin's at 21, gets in those tight beats with the Auriok champion.
Well, you got to have a clock somehow. But I imagine, regardless of what Corey does here, we're probably going to see the Meddling Mage come in and probably just name Titan.
It's going to name nothing else, and why not, right? Because he knows he can play it before Corey's going to be able to go off.
Oh, we do have our second Valakut here, so
ooh,
things are probably...
Oh, that's going to get very interesting very quickly.
That's right. With the Prismatic Omen 1 Mountain, you can actually kill both creatures.
Yeah, nothing quite like your Valakut damage technically being colorless. Meddling Mage can do nothing but name Titan at this stage, but...
So he just plays a Mountain, kills the Mage, and the Freebooter here, and probably just casts Titan anyways.
Correct. And we know he has the last land necessary to do that, so this is looking good for Corey here.
And is that another Valakut?
He's going to cast Mountain.
Oh boy.
So he's going to get both. Corey's, I think, trying to decide how he wants to win.
So if he casts the Escape Shift here, he just sacrifices the 4. And, oh.
Yeah, so he plays Titan. He gets two lands.
Oh, okay. So he gets the 4th Valakut. So he plays that, it heals.
Well, each land he's gonna play at this stage is gonna do 9.
So he deals 18 off of this. Is that right? Is that how it works? Because he has.
Yeah, he couldn't play the 4th Valakut because he drew it,
Right.
which would have made both of that just lethal.
Yep.
So he's gonna have to settle for merely doing 18.
I guess that's okay.
I guess that's fine.
Nothing like playing 2 lands and dealing.
No, he had to play a Titan. I mean, you know, like he had to play a 6-mana creature.
Okay. Okay.
He didn't just play a mountain. He had to work at it. Corey had to work at it. But Collin's super dead, and there's really nothing he can do. Because all that Primeval Titan has to do is turn sideways. Oh, and he has Scape Shift. Yeah,
He doesn't even have to turn sideways. He has another Valakut in his hand that he can just play.
He just play.
It's just that'll be the end of that.
I will say that Collin is attempting to gain as much life as he can by playing all of his creatures, so this has taken. This has in fact taken the game away from Corey playing Valakut and winning the game. He has to now turn the Titan sideways and get 2 more land and then win the game. Or play the other Primeval Titan he just drew.
Doesn't he just play a Valakut and it deals 12 damage?
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All
Titanshift, everybody.
Prismatic Omen is, in fact, one hell of a card, as it turns out.
Yeah, nothing quite like really like taking the clock on that deck to essentially the 5th turn. Like that's really what it does. It makes it so that when you play your 5th land, it is now doing relevant things instead of having to play your 5th land and then tap down and cast Scape Shift. I mean, you're just there. It makes everything that much faster. So is Collin in his sideboard? I mean, I'm not sure if he's running any Knights of Autumn, which is an enchantment hate that he might want to have available to him to take that out, but he certainly brought in the Yarak champions to get as much value as he can out of the life gain plus the unpreventable damage from those guys coming and swinging in.
And once again, unfortunately, I don't know a whole lot about these matchups, so I'm just going to grab one of them here. Let's check out and see maybe what humans can bring to the table here.
Oh, there's that Phantasmal image.
Oh boy!
How about that? And Meddling Mage. That's actually quite the combo here. So, you know, trying to name as many cards as you can. Yes. So we see the particular build we see here online does pack a single Knight of Autumn, which I imagine he might have brought in.
Is there really a whole lot else here that? Okay, so he has the champions.
Detention Steve also potentially very useful to be able to actually get the Titan and snag it, prevent it from swinging in and making lethal. But that's about it.
That's about all the interaction you can expect here. Just, I imagine humans is supposed to, you know, just lay down as much as they can and just try and kill them.
I mean, they are essentially getting to roll out their whole hand as quickly as possible, which is what humans wants to do. But unfortunately, Collin did not have a turn 1 play off that Cavern of Souls.
Well, it does look like I think he has 2 images here for that Meddling Mage.
Ooh.
So you can name
all kinds of stuff.
An awful lot of cards.
So we got a suspended search for tomorrow. I imagine we're going to see Meddling Mage.
Now I wonder, with Meddling Mage, do you name, do you just start naming the larger threats that you know of, or in this situation would you, like, next turn name, just search for tomorrow to try and eke out value instead?
Well, I'm not sure what Collin named. He named Bolt. Okay, so he wanted to at first eliminate the possibility of Corey taking his Meddling Mage out, which I understand. But at this point, in the blind, you don't have a freebooter to be able to actually see what he has. I think the smart move is to start naming the things that your opponent you know he can win the game with. So what can he win the game with? He can win with Scape Shift. Shutting that down's good.
So you probably just start angling towards Scape Shift and Titan next, then?
I would assume so. I mean, that seems like the safe thing to do. He's got Valakut, so it also depends on what else you have available to you. Like, I think I had some Mantis Rider and a Militia Bugler that's also in Collin's hand. So there's the off chance he might choose to use one of those images to copy the Mantis Rider and just start trying to get in there for beats as quickly as he can. because he's only played one Accelerant. He played a Valakut last turn and passed. So if you're Collin, you got a decision to make of how much of my resources do I want to spend disrupting Corey versus trying to win the game as quickly as he can. Because he can play Mantis Rider now, it looks like.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I think.
And then you can start copying it and start just jamming all kinds of stuff in your opponent's face.
You see Phantasmal Image instead. It's interesting. And what did we choose to name with that meddling mage? Number 2.
I'm in suspense.
I can't wait.
Named Anger.
Okay.
Okay, so he's worried about disruption more than he is his opponent's win conditions, which I understand.
I mean, if he just kills him, then it doesn't really matter, right? Your opponent can't win the game if they've already lost. So.
It's very true. And it speaks to Collin's confidence that he'd rather let Corey lose to himself than attempt to disrupt his game plan. So he does have the Mantis Rider, so I presume we're going to see that next turn. He's got looks like a Horizon Canopy. He's got those sweet foil Future Sight and Horizon Canopies. Those are $100 right now. Very nice.
Deck is very pretty. I'm a big fan of foils, as it turns out.
I like the look of them, but I hate playing with them.
Really?
I play with no foils if I can help it.
Well, that's fair. Everyone has
I like alternate art. I like full art lands. I like that stuff, but the foiling, I did like the foiling on the box toppers. It was a little bit more subtle, a little bit more complementary. But the really heavy foiling that gives that cards a real shine, like the Expeditions, I've never been a fan.
That's fine. More important question, with War of the Spark, what do you think of those foils? Have you seen some at all yet?
I haven't. No, I did pull like a couple foil commons. It was like Samus Sprint and a couple other cards like that.
Sure.
I didn't particularly think much of it.
Really? I thought that they did a particularly good job with this set. It's really nice accent.
I do like the art on the masterpieces that I will never see ever because my order was Thanos snapped.
Oh, yeah.
Congratulations on getting some of those, though.
Yeah, thank you. It was wildly unexpected. When I saw the first order cancellation, it was quite disappointing. But luckily, I had someone else make a separate order, and it seemed as though we're getting both of the boxes that they had put in. So
those Jaces alone are just fantastic. I am looking forward to seeing those in person from someone. I'm sure we'll wind up with them. Connor won't be able to resist getting those Ugins for his deck. You know that.
That is my biggest problem with the Mythic Edition Jaces. It sounds like such a silly thing, but I don't care for Legendary Planeswalkers. That is my biggest gripe. Ever since they've done the Legendary update with Planeswalkers, can't say I've been a huge fan. That being said, it looks like we've had a lot of things happen here while we were talking.
Yeah, Corey flame-slashed the Phantasmal Image that named Anger off the Meddling Mage, which is certainly suggesting to Collin what Corey has in his hand. Not sure it's true. I mean, that could have been a bluff to say, I want you to stop playing threats because I am removing this card that will allow me to play Anger of the Gods. But Collin has decided not to bite on the bluff if it is one, and has played Mantis Rider and essentially dared Corey to follow up on his threat.
Yeah, so all I see right now is it looks like a Scapeshift, a couple lands, and...
Oh, there it is.
Oh,
he did have it.
All right.
He did have it. So Collin has paid the price and lost his Mantis Rider, which he's got Freebooter now. He still has one image. And trying to see what his third and fourth cards are in his hand at the moment. He's going to go for the Freebooter first. Take a look to see what's left in Corey's hand. Clear opportunity to prevent himself from losing by getting the escape shifts. That was well timed. Oh, Militia Bugler, which is a fantastic card for him right now, because he's able to play Militia Bugler, and then depending on what he hits off of that, potentially also get more value out of the Phantasmal Image to be able just to start redeveloping his board state. He knows Corey's down 2 land and a Steve.
Now, I can't quite tell, but it looks like that third card, is that another Mantis Rider? No. It is?
It is.
Oh, okay. So we still have a chance to push in a good amount of damage as soon as we have...
He draws another land. That could be Mantis Rider, Phantasmal Image. Here's 7 in the air. And then I'll put Corey at 3 and put him very few options left. Corey's draw.
Is that another scape shift, it looks like?
It is. Yep. So Collin's at 19. So we are... That's 18. Yeah, so that's gonna put Collin at 1. The scape shift, I mean, the very specific amount of damage it's coming true here. So Corey is gonna put Collin at 1, and I think unfortunately for Collin, he's gonna need just one more turn than he's actually going to have to win this game under best circumstances. And he knows it too, because